I was diagnosed with multiple myeloma about 5.5 years ago. I was so incredibly shocked. There is something about the C word, the cancer word, that ravages the body. And I remember that my husband and I just held on to each other, not believing what we'd heard.
My family physician, he decided to do some blood work and discovered that my hemoglobin was very low and that my monoclonal protein was up. And I was referred for a blood transfusion and then follow up with an internal medicine specialist for further diagnostic testing. And so based on that, there was the probable diagnosis of multiple myeloma.
My doctor told me I had high blood pressure, which I'd never had before. She decided to put me on a blood pressure pill, which I took. And next morning, I started to have all these symptoms while I was at church. And once I got to the hospital and they did a test, they told me that my kidneys were failing. I had a biopsy and then they found that there was something wrong with my blood. And that's when they found out that it was multiple myeloma that I had and that it was affecting my kidneys, and that's why my kidneys were failing. When my doctor came in to tell me about it, it was a shock. As soon as she said cancer, I've kind of just froze.
The first symptoms that I experienced with multiple myeloma was fatigue, like wearing a waterlogged coat where every step you take is incredibly difficult. But over the course of time, there's a whole bunch of other symptoms that started to show up. Bone pain, especially my legs, neuropathy, where I couldn't really feel my hands, so I was not able to work full-time anymore. I felt that there was a loss of purpose. So there were, tremendous losses that I had to navigate through.
I was doing dialysis about 3 times a week, couldn't work. I was feeling weak and tired all the time. With the leg pains, I couldn't walk, and that was one of my favorite things to do, was walking. It just felt like I was sick all the time, and I didn't know when it was going to end. I write down everything that happens to me, even if it's significant, even if it happens just the one time. I get a pain here, or I stop breathing here, or I get really fatigued at certain times. I put it in there so when I go to my doctor, I can say, oh, by the way, this happened to me. Is this significant or not? They will be able to tell you, because if you can't tell them what's going on with you, they can't help you.
There will be those days that you don't feel like doing anything, and that's okay as well. And usually it's after some big night of dancing, and then the next day I'm exhausted, and I will just really enjoy hanging out in my jammies for a day. And then the next day away I go again. The more positive you are, the better it is. Attitude, I think, is everything in life in general, and I think relative to myeloma, that's a good part of it as well.
The biggest lesson that I learned from being diagnosed with the cancer is you get what you focus on. I really stopped focusing on the cancer. Instead, I really put my attention on things that I really loved to do, whether that was reading or learning to cook or taking dance classes. And so, I have to say that I'm actually doing awesomely well today, in spite of the myeloma.
To alleviate these symptoms that I experience, I meditate. And I like to be with my friends, just have fun, just laugh. The importance of support groups is tremendous. It's just people getting together who have the same thing as you. Some of them have been through it several times, have several relapses. They know the symptoms. They know all these little things that can help you with the symptoms. You just learn so much from the people there.
You don't do cancer alone. It takes a village. Caregivers are such an integral part of the makeup of you as a patient. A simple thank you, a simple I see what you're doing goes such an incredibly long way to recognize the incredible efforts of our caregivers. I don't know what I would have done without mine. I really don't know.